Nganyang Collard, Ngan Wajak were Ballarong Noongar, Nganyang Mort Collard, Benno Maguire were Shaw, Bulla Noongar Mort. One of my passions is Noongar language, spreading it as far and wide as I can, I guess. You know, it's the language of the land that we live on, Noongar Budja. A lot of our old people were impacted upon through, you know, historical policies and weren't given that opportunity to be able to speak their language, you know, or learn it. So I guess as someone who can speak it, I feel a bit of a responsibility to share it and pass it on to others, you know. For Indigenous people, it's part of our being, you know, and the language evolved here on the land. So it's so intrinsically linked between us, the land and the language. Those three things, they're intrinsically linked. And so for us to be able to speak the language on the land as people that, you know, are part of this land, it's just a special thing. Having the freedom to be able to just be a Noongar person and not have to change for this or that, you know. Every day I'm just being a Noongar person, speaking and sharing my language, which is a real privilege, you know. And I think about what our grandparents went through, and even my dad's generation, what they've had to go through in not having the same opportunities that I've got, you know. Every day I'm somewhere different for teaching the language or teaching about the culture or the history, and it is a real privilege that I don't take for granted. Having the opportunity to teach the language to Noongar people who had that opportunity taken from them, you know, because of those policies of the past, that's something I love to do. I love to be able to provide that opportunity if possible to people, you know. I sort of get sometimes annoyed because they might feel shame or, you know, for not knowing the language, but I get annoyed because they shouldn't, you know. It's not their shame to bear. It's the people that put those things into place. It's the Australian government that should bear that shame, and I don't think people fully understand that. All those policies of the past were so systematic to try and get rid of us. A.O. Neville did not want me cruising around school to school teaching Noongar language. There were systematic processes in place to try to prevent that. The apology in 2008, huge moment in Australian history, but the follow-up has not been as systematic, you know. What's been put in place to help us bring back our language and bring back things? There's bits and pieces of funding and, you know, but really it's nowhere near as systematic, and I guess I feel a bit of responsibility as someone who can speak the language to get out and spread it as much as possible. Obviously we want our Noongar people speaking our language. Non-Indigenous people can have a role in helping that as well by learning the language too in a respectful way.